This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And tonight, from Busch Stadium in downtown St. Louis, it's game number 1 between the Milwaukee Brewers and the St. Louis Cardinals. The Brewers yesterday, 17 innings, snapping a 7-game losing skid. Martin Maldonado with a walk-off homer. Meanwhile, here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, the Cardinals were looking to take 2 of 3 against the LA Dodgers. They were able to do it with back-to-back strikes on Justin Turner on the outside corner, and the Cardinals had won the series over LA. With Rick Horton, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Delighted to have you with us for baseball here on your home of the Cardinals, Fox Sports Midwest. So the question would be, a long game for Milwaukee, quick game for the Cardinals, about 2.5 hours. What happens here tonight?
Cardinals are flying high. They've got the best record in baseball. Hard to beat here at home. I expect Milwaukee to be a little travel weary today.
Mike Fiers will get the call tonight. For the Milwaukee Brewers, the right-hander. And for St. Louis, the lefty, Jaime Garcia. The Brewers, the Cardinals, coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Cardinals and the Brewers. Some missing pieces to this team. One in the rotation. Adam Wainwright done for the year. Matt Adams could be done for the season. He's out with a torn quad. Speaking of Wainwright, he'll join us in the telecast tonight. The replacements will start with Jaime Garcia.
Depth has been a big issue for the Cardinals, and they've shown they've got that depth. Jaime Garcia's come off the disabled list. 2 good starts, 5 walks against the Mets. Then he beat the Diamondbacks. As for Mark Reynolds, he's done a terrific job around the first base bag, showing that occasional power, and is also cutting down on his strikeouts.
Mike Fiers, Jaime Garcia, the Brewers, the Cardinals coming up from Busch Stadium on Fox Sports Midwest. Still brewed the hard way. This Bud's for you. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealers for great prices on our all-new 2015 vehicles today. Let's hope the rain stays away. Big crowd is gathered here at Busch Stadium as the homestand continues for the St. Louis Cardinals. A sweep over Arizona, 2 out of 3. The Cardinals won against Los Angeles, and now the first of 3 against Milwaukee, a team that is struggling in just about every facet of the game. This lineup: Jean Segura, Jonathan Lucroy back healthy, then Ryan Braun, who's been red hot, Carlos Gomez, Aramis Ramirez, Jason Rogers, Gerardo Parra, Luis Sardinas, a switch hitter, and Mike Fiers, the pitcher, batting ninth. That lineup, that 9, will face left-hander Jaime Garcia.
Excited to watch Jaime Garcia make start number 3, cut down on his walks his last outing where he picked up a victory.
And the first pitch is fouled back, and we're underway.
You know you're going to get movement with Jaime Garcia, and there's a look at his numbers: 13 innings, the 1-1 record. It's just nice to have him healthy again. And for his part, Dan, he's just got to control the lower part of the strike zone. If he does that, he'll be successful. 2 things he can't control is the umpire giving him strikes. That helps him, and his defense playing well, especially on the infield behind him.
Here's a 1-1. Segura hits it the other way and foul. The emphatic call there from first base umpire, the crew chief, Joe West.
Just so we know he's here.
The singing cowboy, Joe West. Segura is hitting .282, couple of home runs. He's driven in 14. The 1-2 pitch hit the other way, and that is a fair ball. Base hit into right. Over to cut it off, Jason Hayward. And the Cardinals hold Segura to a leadoff single. And it brings in Jonathan Lucroy. The Hyundai pitch arsenal for left-hander Jaime Garcia.
4-pitch pitchers. Garcia, fastball with tremendous movement and sink. And it really is a good combination, the fastball and the changeup. The slider is the same velocity as the changeup. Certainly goes in a different direction, and he will use that curveball as well about 7 to 10% of the time, and the curveball was pretty sharp his last outing.
This is start number 100 of his career, Jaime Garcia. At great numbers, it's all a matter of staying healthy for this left-hander. 43-27 in his career. Respectable ERA, about 3.5. But so far this year, 13 innings pitched, and he's allowed 5 earned. That pitch taken high by Lucroy, who returns to the lineup healthy.
So 100 starts for Garcia, and I'm sure there's a Cardinal trainer somewhere that could add up the number of hours of rehab that he's had to spend to get back to make these starts that he's made this year. I mean, it's been a long road for Jaime, and I know there were times where he had to wonder, and others wondered whether or not this day would come where he'd be back pitching in the big leagues.
Fought off into center field, and the catch is made in center by John Jay. Back to first goes Segura. Very nice play from the Cardinal center fielder.
We've seen some good outfield play in the last couple of weeks, and here's John Jay adding to that highlight reel. I mean, that's just a nice play. He's got to keep that ball in front of him. If he lets that ball get past him, first of all, you try to catch it, but you can't let that ball get by you, otherwise it's a run.
And it brings in Ryan Braun. Leads their club in home runs with 12. He has driven in 38, and that also is a team high. Fastball and a strike on the inside corner. Last start for Jaime Garcia was over 2 years ago against these Milwaukee Brewers, May 17th of 2013.
And you remember that 2-hit shutout that he had against the Brewers in 2011, and that's one of the nastiest games that he's ever had. I mean, the ball was moving. In fact, Cardinals, I believe, were 1 hit either the day before or the day after by Giovanni Gallardo. And so we saw some great pitching, but that's the upside potential of Jaime Garcia.
1 out and a runner at first, and the 0-1 pitch to Braun. Off of Garcia. Stays with it, steps, throws, and makes the play as Braun goes flying off the bag. And Joe West helps him up. They're going to check on Garcia and make sure he's all right. That ball was scorched back up the middle.
Boy, a lot happening on that play, and it begins with Braun smoking that ball up the middle, and just got to again hope that Garcia's okay. But Braun went tumbling over the first base bag. Pretty dangerous moment for him as well. Here's the pitch from Garcia, kind of in the middle of the plate up, and where does that hit him? Off the leg somewhere. He has the presence of mind to get it and fire quickly. Close play, and looks like he is out at first, and there Ryan Braun tumbles after the play. So close, but a good call.
Looked like it may have hit off the right knee,
right,
the inside portion of the right leg. Hit speed off the bat was triple digits, 102.3 miles per hour, and then off the leg of Garcia. Cardinals defense presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers with Holiday, Jay, and Hayward in the outfield. Carpenter, Peralta, Wong, Reynolds on the infield. Molina behind the plate. Garcia on the mound. Here's Carlos Gomez, who's batting cleanup in this lineup. most of the time we've seen him as a leadoff man. Gomez with 5 home runs. He's driven in 20, batting .257 this year. Segura with good speed, the runner at second base. Outfield is deep and straight away. Little chopper towards third, rolling foul for strike one.
Well, we've always talked about Carlos Gomez being a leadoff hitter that swings like a cleanup hitter. Well, now he's hitting cleanup for Milwaukee. They've had injuries too, Dan. We talked in our open about the Cardinals' injuries, but the Brewers have had to deal with Lucroy. You mentioned he's just back after his broken toe on his left foot, and they also are now missing Chris Davis, who had knee surgery. So a lineup that's already struggling has had to deal with some losses.
Chris Davis's injury happened with a swing. Odd injury.
Tore his meniscus. Swinging the bat.
0-1 pitch. There was a quick look inside that Brewers dugout, but the new manager now is Craig Counsell. Longtime Major League player, no managerial experience. That seems to be the trend right now in Major League Baseball, to bring young, inexperienced former players to that managerial role. Cardinals did that with Mike Matheny, highly successful. And there's a base hit to left. Segura will score the first run tonight. 1-0 Milwaukee on the RBI by Gomez, his 21st.
There have been 3 hard hit balls out of 4 batters in this inning. The only ball not hit hard was the base hit by Segura the other way on a pitch up in the zone. But that pitch too, middle of the plate, hit hard to left.
Aramis Ramirez. 2 outs and a runner at first. The Brewers are in a really tough spot. I mean, do you sell off some of these assets that they have and do a complete rebuild, or say, look, Carlos Gomez, we can build around him. Lucroy, we can build around him. Ryan Braun is with a long-term deal, the right fielder for Milwaukee. Ground ball to third, backhanded by Carpenter across the diamond to Reynolds, the former Brewer. Carlos Gomez, a 2-out RBI base hit to left field that scores Gene Segura. That swing makes it 1-0 after a half inning. Cardinals coming up in the home half of the first. 2-out RBI for Carlos Gomez, 1-0 Milwaukee. The Brewers tied a franchise record yesterday. They used 9 pitchers in their win over Arizona. Mike Fiers was supposed to go in game 2. Matt Garza supposed to get the start tonight. But Garza came in relief yesterday, 5 innings. Fiers, by the way, working on normal days rest, so he's in there tonight for game number 1.
And Milwaukee used 8 relievers in that game, so you would have to think their bullpen is pretty thin. And they've recalled a guy from the minor leagues to help.
Base hit into right, Colt Wong. So the 5 innings for Matt Garza. There to the far right is Kyle Lohse, who's off to a tough start. Missouri Lottery Fox tracks and a base hit for Colt Wong.
Pitch down and in. Lefties often love that pitch. Fiers is a guy that will throw a lot of pitches per inning, Dan, as we have seen him before many times. And he's a strikeout guy. He's only walked 4 batters in his last 4 starts, yet the pitch count is very high for him because he likes that strikeout.
So Wong, the runner at first base. It brings in Matt Carpenter, who's hitting .318. And the first pitch, a ball. Carpenter also with 8 home runs, and he's knocked in 27. Cardinals had issues on the base paths in game 3 yesterday against the Dodgers. Brett Anderson picked off 2. Cardinals also ran into 2 outs on the bases. You want to be aggressive, but you want to be smart. Here's a 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes.
We categorize the 2 outs on the bases, one as being aggressive and the other one as not being smart. So, and those are going to happen. Cardinals have certainly been aggressive on the bases in terms of taking the extra base, going to first to third more often, and I guess you kind of live by the sword and die by the sword. That aggressiveness sometimes comes at a cost.
Here's a 2-0. Because of the injury to Lucroy, there's only been 11 steals against him, attempts. He's caught 4. And Wong is a threat to steal. About a half step bigger lead for Colt Wong. See if they want to throw over. And they do. A quick tag applied by Jason Rogers.
Colt Wong's year in AAA, I believe he only was thrown out 1 time stealing, had over 20 stolen bases, and since he's gotten to the big leagues, he seems almost a little tentative to get that jump. So he's kind of in between. We talk about hitters being in between, where they're late on the fastball and ahead of the breaking ball. I think runners sometimes get in between. They want to get the big jump, but then they get a little antsy, and then they'll either get picked off or they'll be tentative and be late. He's still kind of searching for that right time to go.
2-2. This is right in Carpenter's wheelhouse. 2 strikes. Arguably the best in the game at this spot. Against Fiers, that's a rarity to see a pitcher have good numbers against Carpenter. 2 for 16 for Matt.
The only good Cardinal numbers you're going to see in this game against Fiers is Johnny Peralta.
And Peralta is batting cleanup tonight. On deck, it's Holiday. And a 2-2 pitch to Matt Carpenter. Instead, a check on Wong.
I really feel with Matt Carpenter, and 2 strikes is not when you do it, but you open up the possibility of not just stealing with Colton Wong, but hit and runs, because Carpenter is so good with the bat, so good at kind of being smart at the plate and understanding the strike zone. I think as the year unfolds, I could see more hit and runs with this combination than we've seen so far.
2-2 in the dirt. Let's see the Cardinals if they want to start Wong here. You've got Carpenter who makes contact. Good speed at first with Colt Wong. could be a good chance to run. Wong is running, and the pitch is hit in the air. Left field, Parham near the line. Makes the catch. Wong back to first. A look at the Cardinals lineup. Kolten Wong, Matt Carpenter. Now it's Holliday trying to extend his on-base streak to start the year to 45. Johnny Peralta, cleanup. Then Molina, Hayward, Reynolds, Jay, Garcia. 4 Cardinals rank in the top 12 of National League players in the batting race. Carpenter, 318. Holliday, 318. Peralta at 310. And Kolten Wong at 310.
Nice to have that kind of balanced attack, isn't it?
Sure is.
Hard to shut down all 4 guys at one time.
Matt Holliday has been battling the flu. Walked by the video room in the clubhouse, and Matt was sprawled out on the couch, getting some rest and getting prepared for tonight. Matt is 5 for 14 on the homestand with a couple of walks. Had to leave the game on Saturday with sickness, then had a walk to extend that streak of reaching base safely to 44. Here's the 0-1. A breaking pitch taken outside, 1-1. You may remember in September of last year it was Mike Fiers who struck Giancarlo Stanton on the face that ended Stanton's season early. Broken bones in the face in a scary situation. 2 balls, 1 strike. Clearly you wonder about the player that's hit, but then you worry about mentally your pitcher coming back. Fiers made his first start after that incident here in St. Louis, and a couple of times he looked unnerved with pitches that were up and in.
Yeah, and he needs to pitch up and in too. That's part of his deal. He's going to throw fastballs up there. He's really a 3-pitch pitcher, fastball, curve, changeup, and he needs to kind of keep hitters off balance. One more check on Kolten Wong.
Two balls, 1 strike on Holliday. Craig Counsell wants to take a look as to whether or not they will review this, and that's why the umpire at home plate, Rob Drake, came out, threw the dirt off the plate, gave them time to take a review, and they say let's play ball. Very close at first base.
Good tag.
The 2-1 inside, 3-1. It has been a remarkable run here for Matt Holliday. Former teammate Albert Pujols, he reached base, you may recall, back in 2008, 42 straight. So Holliday not only has set the Cardinals record, it's also the National League record.
And Tim Raines held that with Albert Pujols at 42.
It's now at 45. Hyundai pitch arsenal for right-hander Mike Fiers.
Well, these are the 3 pitches we told you about 70% fastball, so he does not throw particularly hard. He's about 89, 90, so nothing kind of wow you there in terms of velocity. So he has to kind of get outs up in the zone and then kind of move to both sides of the plate and certainly use that curveball about 15% of the time. The changeup is a good pitch for him, but the changeup is only a good pitch if your fastball has been established.
2 on, 1 out. Here's Johnny Peralta. He's hitting .310, 8 home runs. He's driven in 30. Runners at first and second. Outfield is deep. And Peralta goes the other way with a fly ball that'll find the seats out of play. You look at signings by John Mozeliak, and back-to-back here in this lineup, two of his better signings once they hit free agency. Matt Holliday and now Johnny Peralta. Peralta has been so steady since he came to town.
He really has. The defense better than we thought it would be, but he has just been a force offensively, and he's streaky. I mean, there are times where he's been kind of chasing balls in the dirt, and he's been off with his timing. That happens to every hitter. But the power that he has is always surprising to me. He's hit a couple of balls this year, Dan, to straightaway center field, 430 plus.
He's got a couple of home runs on this homestand, batting close to 400 this past week. 1 ball, 1 strike. In the dirt, staying put, Wong at second base. It becomes a tough read for the runner at first base because you have to make sure the man at second commits to go to third.
You are absolutely taking your read from that lead runner, and you don't want to make a mistake. You can't be the aggressive one. You have to be the follower.
The 2-1. Peralta pulls it foul. And you have to be certain the runner at second base is headed to third. If not, you're going to get picked off. So 2-2 the count. Inning started with a base hit by Wong to right. Carpenter flied out to left. Walk to Matt Holliday. And the 2-2 pitch to Peralta.
Always thought that Johnny Peralta had a bit of a long swing when we first started seeing him, and maybe susceptible to the breaking pitch off the plate, but it's a very smooth swing too. He does not really kind of get out of control anywhere in that swing. He's just, again, it's long but effective.
2-2. Right down the middle, and a strikeout of Peralta, who is looking for something else. Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's defense behind fires. Farah, Gomez, and Braun in the outfield. Ramirez, Segura, Sardinius, and Rogers on the infield. Lucroy behind the plate.
To add to the woes for the Brewers, they've not played well defensively either. In fact, one of their good players from a year ago, Scooter Gennett, got off to such a bad start, they've sent him back to AAA. And they're really relying on Craig Counsell, who we think of mostly as the guy with the funny batting stance, to kind of get this team back again. He's been a winner. He's used to it.
So 2 outs and 2 on. Breaking ball taken high to Yadier Molina. Yadi in the 5th spot in the lineup. He's batting .284. Still looking for that elusive first home run. He's driven in 19. The family members of the Molinas are here. Jose, and I believe Benji is here as well. 2 balls and no strikes. Hayward on deck. 3 balls, no strikes. This begins a 3-city road trip for the Milwaukee Brewers. Takes them to Minnesota and Pittsburgh. They begin play 16 and a half games back of the Cardinals. On 3-0, he's jammed, and a race to third, and Ramirez beats Colton Wong. 1-0 as we move to the second. We turn to Rick Horton's Toyota keys to the game.
Anytime Jaime Garcia pitches, I think it's very important that he has off-speed command. He can be good with the fastball alone because of the movement, but what sets him apart, which makes him very, very good at times, is the off-speed pitches, the changeup and the slider. Full court press, that's this, in my mind, what the Cardinals have to do in this series against Milwaukee. Milwaukee has been struggling. They did win yesterday. Took them 17 innings to do it, but this is a team that's down. Cardinals have won 5 out of 6. Mike Matheny always preaches just keep pressing, 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 and I think this is a series to do that against a team in your division.
27-year-old Jason Rogers digs in for the first time. He saw his first big league action last season, appeared in 8 games, and was 1 for 9. We saw him earlier this year, and he swung the bat well.
He did. He's really been a good pinch hitter. 9 for 16 as a pinch hitter, and you and I were talking when we saw him in Milwaukee that maybe this is a guy that ought to be playing a little bit more.
Split time between AA and AAA a year ago. AA affiliate is in Huntsville, played 77 games there. Then AAA Nashville, 57. And was almost exclusively at third base. Aramis Ramirez has said he will retire after this year. And Rogers could be their everyday third baseman next season. Went to Southern Union State Community College and Columbus State University. You can play, they'll find you. Hayward back deep at the wall, makes the catch up against the wall for the first down.
Hayward has shown very good range defensively. Normally makes the right track to the ball. We've seen him come in. We've seen him go in the gaps. We've seen him go back. He's really absolutely a plus defender.
Here is Parra. Very good defensive player, came over from Arizona. Can play all 3 outfield spots. And a plus defender. Multiple gold gloves. 0-1 pitch. Up and in. Watch out.
I think I know the answer to this, but next time I see Yadi, I'm going to ask him this question. Who's the hardest pitcher on your team to catch? And I'm guessing the answer is going to be Garcia, because the ball moves so much late. And it darts left, darts right, and I'm not sure he always knows which way it's going to go. There are times where he'll pull the ball across his body and it'll dart to the right. And other times he's got the great sinker, and everything moves. And I would think Yadi catching Garcia, he has to be extra focused. Not that he's not always focused, but he has to be on guard against that potential pass ball or wild pitch.
And the 1-2 pitch taken up and in. It's a great point you make, because it's really a point of emphasis, I think, for so many that follow the game, and with the advanced metrics framing a pitch. Think about Garcia trying to frame him.
Exactly.
With the late movement. Very tough to do.
About the guy that's got to frame a knuckleballer.
Good luck.
You're not going to do well on that metric.
R.A. Dickey, Tom Candiotti, Charlie Huff, great knuckleballers. And we've seen catchers then go with the oversized first baseman's mitt behind the plate.
Isn't that Bob Uecker's line? Best way to catch a knuckleball, just wait till it stops rolling and pick it up.
That's right.
He's here at the ballpark. Always great to see him.
3-2 pitch. And a fly ball lifted down the left field line. Holiday runs out of room. Look at this crowd we have on a Monday night. There's Bob Uecker. Huge crowd. We have not seen a crowd under 40,000 since the 2013 season. It's a Monday night against Milwaukee, a team that has the fewest wins right now in Major League Baseball with 17.
You were going through their lineup. The top of the first, you went through Segura and Lucroy and Braun and Gomez and Ramirez, and then you made the statement that this is a team that's struggling offensively. Almost hard to understand that.
Hitting right around 230 as a team.
Last in the National League.
3-2 pitch again. On the outside corner and a strikeout of Parra. First strikeout for Garcia. You can join Fox Sports Midwest and the Rams at the annual Coach Fisher and Friends softball game Sunday, June 7th at T.R. Hughes Ballpark, home of the River City Rascals. 5 different charities will benefit from this fun event. That's June 7th. Just visit stlouisrams.com for more information. Jeff Fisher will be with us tomorrow here in the booth. I've got some questions.
I bet
Coach
you do.
Fisher. Switch hitting, Luis Sardinas, 228 the average of Milwaukee as a team. The second baseman hitting 246. And a ground ball slowly hit to short, taken there by Peralta. Well, we hope to visit with Commissioner Rob Manfred of Major League Baseball when we return. We move to the home half of the second. 1-0 Milwaukee. Baseball, Rob Manfred join us as the Cardinals trail by the score of 1-0. And first of all, Commissioner, welcome to St. Louis.
Well, I'm glad to be here. It's always a pleasure to come to St. Louis. It's really one of the great baseball towns in America, and it's always fun to be here.
It was about this time last year that Bud Selig stopped by, and I conducted an interview with him. And I said, is this the model right now for the sport? Is this city, this franchise, the model for baseball? And I'll ask you that question. He said yes. How about you?
I really think it is. I mean, if you think about it, you have a state-of-the-art facility. You have an organization that's managed to be competitive year in, year out. They have built beyond the ballpark in terms of the ballpark village in a way that's a model for the rest of the industry. And the fans in this town just continue to support this great franchise. It's unbelievable. It's a great success story.
Of course, Bud did such a great job in his role as commissioner. You've got the big shoes to fill. And, you know, as you look forward, what are some of the big thoughts that you have in mind, big picture-wise, in terms of your vision as commissioner?
One of the things that we're very focused on is young people in the game. Two different aspects to that. We think baseball needs to be very competitive in the youth space in terms of kids playing the game. It's very difficult to get a big baseball fan if they never play. A lot easier to get an avid fan if they play the game as a kid. And baseball needs to be competitive in that space. Second thing, and the individual clubs are great on this, we're trying to get kids in the ballpark at a younger age. The younger kids engage with the game, the more likely it is they're going to be lifelong fans. So we're working really hard on those young people issues.
One of the things, too, that we've talked about is pace of play. Are you happy with the way that's gone?
I really am pleased. I think that the biggest thing we've accomplished is we've gotten great player cooperation. We went through a process, included the MLBPA, worked with the umpires, and it's been rolled out in a way that the players has cooperated. Rick, on the field, something like that, if you don't have player cooperation, you're dead, and we've been very fortunate.
And speaking of player cooperation, that's something that's really been unprecedented in the last, say, 2 decades in baseball, has been this relationship between the player. It hasn't always been that way between Major League Baseball and the Players Union, but I assume that's something that going forward you see continuing.
We're going to work really hard at that issue. I think that one of the keys to Commissioner Selig's success, and he did have great success, he did great things for the game, is we were able to form a relationship with the Players Association where we don't always agree on things, but we found a way to get through things in a way that was good for the players, good for the owners. Met with the Cardinal players today. I told them, if you don't remember anything else, remember that I said I want to keep that good relationship going.
Carlos Villanueva has served on the Players Association for years.
Right.
And he said that you have been one of the biggest supporters of the players, and he feels that's going to lend itself to having further negotiations that are on a positive note.
Yeah, Carlos been very active with the MLBPA, a real leader among the player group, and frankly, it makes me feel good that he said that. We try to portray ourselves at the table in a way that makes the players feel like we understand that they are the game, and they are the game after all, and we need to treat them in a way that recognizes that.
Mark Reynolds with a base hit into right as he beats the shift. And that leads me right into my next question. I've heard you say, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you may not be the biggest supporter of the shift. Am I right with that?
Well, I got in a little trouble with the shift right out of the gate.
Come on, Commissioner.
Somebody asked
You're not
me,
a commissioner if you're not in trouble a
That's
little
right.
bit, right?
Well, somebody asked me a question, and I tried to, about sort of outside the box things. And I'd been cautioned about this. If you talk about outside the box things, you're going to get a reaction. And the reporter chased me down the street a little bit, and I finally said, well, one thing I think about is getting rid of shifts. Well, I'll tell you, I got more. I'm not talking about just 2-line emails. I'm talking about scholarly papers explaining to me how misguided I was. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
You ought to become a broadcaster and see some of those letters, too.
Some of them not so scholarly that we get.
Well, I got ones with footnotes. I swear to God. I mean, it was unbelievable.
I want to ask you about one other aspect of this game, and it already is, Commissioner, an international game. And you look around Major League Baseball, and certainly you see the effects of that. I assume that's something going forward that's only going to increase in MLB.
It is. I think we've done a wonderful job during the Selig tenure of making forays internationally. We went to places like Japan and Australia. I think the trick for us and what we're really focused on is more sustained international play, places where we can go and play with more frequency. I think Mexico's a great target for us. Club's really excited about the potential of Cuba, and the geographics of those places are such that you can come and go and make it work within our schedule.
Would those be exhibition games or games that you'd see a series here or there, or are you looking to maybe look permanently at some of these places?
I think you have it exactly in the right order. I think for both markets, you need to do some exhibition games, get comfortable with facilities, logistics, and then, experiment, maybe move a series or two, see how that goes. Canada's really interested, Montreal in a series. And then ultimately the goal would be to have a franchise in one of these countries permanently.
Garcia with a high fly ball into center. Quickly, Commissioner, have you gotten used to the fact that your autograph is on a Major League Baseball?
You know, I've come to the conclusion that I'm never going to get used to that. I mean, I'm really not. I think that's going to be a long time in the making. So
thanks for being here.
It was great to see you both.
Great to see you. Thanks. You're doing great work. Rob Manfred, Commissioner, Major League Baseball. Teaming up for the Coleman St. Louis race for the Cure on Saturday, June 13th. And you can sign up, be a part of a team, be a part of raising money for a great cause. Head to stlouisblues.com. Very nice to have the Commissioner, Rob Manfred, with us. Along with Rick Horton, I'm Dan McLaughlin. By the way, we hope to visit with Adam Wainwright. He is at the ballpark today, and he'll stop by the booth maybe around the 5th inning or so. Had the chance to visit with Mark Mulder today, who's working with ESPN on their broadcast of this ball game. And Mark tore his Achilles coming back, trying to make it in the big leagues with the Angels. He said it's a long road, tough process, but if anybody could do it, it is Adam Wainwright. We know Adam's attitude and the way he goes about it is second to none. Mike Fiers chops it left side, and a foul ball.
Well, players are used to, as competitors, working while people are watching, but that rehab gig, Dan, is a lot of work when nobody's looking. I mean, it's your off-season stuff, and these guys, of course, have really intense off-season workout schedules as well that they'll do. That, again, they don't always share that with everybody, including lifting and cardio and all that. But when you're in rehab, that is a lonely, tough place to be, because nobody's really watching except the one trainer that's with you, and he's trying to keep you as lifted up as he can, but it's tough.
And that's what Mark was saying. You come back, and he said, I'm sure pretty soon he'll get in the pool and start doing various exercises with that, and you walk out of there and you feel great, and you say, I'm ready to go, and they pull the reins on you to keep you on schedule for what they believe is the right timetable to come back from that injury. Second strikeout for Garcia.
Anybody who's been through rehab knows that those exercises are like, okay, see if you can move it 1/8 of an inch more. And that's what we're working on this month. And how disheartening that can be for somebody who's trying to compete on this stage in the big league.
Well, Garcia, first time through, allowed a couple of base hits, a run, struck out 2, no walks, and it brings in Gene Segura. who singled to right and scored on the RBI by Gomez back in the first.
Seen an improvement already with Garcia. He's getting the ball down further in the zone. The ground ball for Sardinius to end the second. In that last at bat, he's starting to use that lower half of the plate better. It's a slight adjustment, but that's where he can be much more effective. That's a curveball that just slipped.
Don't you love how personable the commissioner is?
Regular guy.
Regular guy. I've seen him on various interviews, and for us off the air, really fun and funny.
Regular guy who's an attorney and has his name on every one of the baseballs in play today.
Well, I asked him that question because we were at the Fox seminar, and he spoke to all of us, and he said, I just can't believe that this autograph and this signature on the ball is mine. I'm the commissioner of Major League Baseball. I can't believe it. Ground ball to second, taken there by Colton Wong, 2 down.
That's a lot like the first time a player sees his first baseball card. You may get a contract, you may get the money, you may get a uniform, but there's something about that baseball card that represents something to you that you never thought would happen.
How many do you have of yours still? Be honest.
How many total cards or how many?
Well, let's just talk about the shrine probably in your basement to yourself.
Well, I have a couple of hundred of them that my parents bought at a antique store in New York.
Is that right?
Yeah, that was not really a great story, actually, when they told me that. Like, wait a minute.
At the antique store.
But I probably have a couple hundred of them, I guess. You can have one if you'd like.
I've got many.
Okay.
I really do. Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah. Right next to the Fox Sports Midwest headshot that you signed for me, too. That was great.
But I actually have 5,000 cards, Dan, from when I was a kid. And I have cards back to, some of them back to the 50s that I collected from other people. And a lot of those cards are very meaningful to me because they represent players that I absolutely loved when I was 10, 11, 12 years of age. And it's pretty important to me.
I have the same thing.
Do you?
Oh, yeah. I think I ruined my teeth by age 13 because trying to get the right guy, I had to get all the gum. You know, the packs came with gum back then.
And you were trying to get Ozzie Smith. I know that.
Oh, yeah. Lucroy, a bouncer to short. Peralta throws on the run and the stretch by Reynolds. A 1-2-3 inning. Garcia has set down 7 straight. Midway through 3, 1-0. #1 app for live baseball, in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, and more. MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. Kyle Lohse in the final year of his deal with the Milwaukee Brewers. Another one of those pieces that could be moved before this season is through.
You asked that question, the third out was made. What do the Brewers do? I think step one for them, personally, in my opinion, is they got to find out what Craig Counsell can do with the guys that are here currently, and they've got to find out what they really have. And there's a couple players, including Scooter Gennett, that you might put into that mix. When you start moving pieces, you better be sure the other pieces are ready to be in place. Otherwise, you're going backwards.
You're back to square one.
You are, or maybe worse.
Here's Colton Wong, and the worst is that you're talking about is that you overexpose a young player that can't get back to the level of growth that he needs to be at.
I think you know who Carlos Gomez is. I think you know who Ryan Braun is. But, you know, Gene Segura, kind of up and down. And there are some piece players like Parra and others that, you know, are part of the mix. But just how far are you going to go with Scooter Gennett as your second baseman? Is Chris Davis a guy that's going to be an everyday player and an impact guy so you can move an outfielder? I mean, there's a lot of questions for Counsell to have to kind of mull over the next couple of months before I think they make those decisions.
2-2, it off the end of the bat into right, and there's Ryan Braun. So Wong is 1 for 2. The T-Mobile game changer, Matt Carpenter, and he likes seeing Milwaukee pitching.
19 doubles since 2012 against Milwaukee. Also ranks up there as far as walks and runs scored and hits, and he's just been a force against this team in the division.
Third baseman Ramirez in, and you just might be doing Carpenter a favor in doing that. Not many teams will play Matt Carpenter with this type of defense. Third baseman well off the line, but in and even a step or two from the bag.
I'm going to go run down the commissioner and see what he thinks.
He already gave the answer.
Well, we want to get him in trouble again. That was such a funny answer that he actually got criticism with footnotes in it. Not just a, hey, you don't know what you're talking about, guy, email. He got, I mean, the full 9 yards. That's awesome.
Like I said, become a broadcaster and see some of the nice letters we get. Yeah, on the outside corner, strike out a Carpenter.
I wouldn't call some of those things footnotes, and I'm not sure what I'd call them.
Love the drink run with any size, any flavor McCafe shake for just $1.99 at McDonald's. And the reality is we do get very nice letters. I'd say 99% of the time.
Well, Cardinal fans are passionate, and you see something you don't like, you see a guy make a mistake on the base pass, it's just frustrating. It just is. And, you know, they're humans, as Tony La Russa taught us. You know, they're men and not machines. They're going to make mistakes. But, you know, it's frustrating when you want your team to win and they do something that just doesn't make any sense. And it happens. And so we get it.
Most consecutive games reaching base, and it's now up to 45 with the walk issued to Holiday back in the first. And the 0-1 pitch. Inside to Holiday. I think one of the things, and I would have loved to have talked to the commissioner about this, but they would love to get the stars of this game promoted even better. Get them out there front and center so that those young fans can get closer to the player, know about the player, the Mike Trouts, the Andrew McCutchens, the Matt Holidays.
I've seen 2 or 3 promotional pieces recently that are trying to do exactly that, and I think they're great because young kids, you know, need to connect to these players as people, you know, as guys that could have been down the street. That's one of the allures of baseball, is the baseball players come from right down the street. They went to high school with your sister, and they're in the next subdivision over. I mean, that's baseball is such a, to me, it's such a kind of a grassroots kind of game that needs a little more connecting than we've had. It is grassroots. It's not a pizzazz elite kind of game. It's a grassroots game, and I think we're trying to figure out ways to reconnect young fans with that.
The commissioner, we were down on the field, and he met with the assembled media, and then right when he was done, he hopped out of the dugout, and behind home plate, there was a roped-off area with a lot of kids, probably 100, 150, and he went over and talked to every one of them. Just popped right out of the dugout, wasn't planned, and started shaking hands and saying, "Who are you? How are you? Enjoying baseball?" Strikeout of Holiday. Called third strike with the breaking ball. Back-to-back Ks and 3 tonight for Fiers. Until September 24th. Receive up to 50% off a pair of Cardinal tickets. Just visit cardinals.com/Phillips66. Ryan Braun will lead it off, followed by Carlos Gomez and Aramis Ramirez. Braun leads the major leagues in RBIs since April 28th, tied for second in home runs with 11. 34 RBIs since the 28th of April.
Not much about the weather here tonight that says June 1st in St. Louis to me. It's been incredible the last couple of weeks here in St. Louis. Another nice crowd you mentioned. It almost feels like fall baseball to me.
It was chilly yesterday here at the ballpark. As we know, though, here in St. Louis, just wait.
Exactly.
1 ball, 1 strike on Braun, who lined a pitch off of Garcia. And since that time, when he took that ball up the right leg, it has not affected him one bit.
Really, the mechanics haven't changed. He's really been able to overcome it. He said you could see him mouthing the words to Mike Matheny, "I'm all right." And now he's proven it. He said it, now he's proven it.
Here's a 1-2. Braun with a fly ball into right field. Hayward to his left. 1 down. It's now 8 straight set down by Garcia.
Check the location of this delivery. It's supposed to be in, and it went back over the middle of the plate. There's the movement of Garcia. And there's Yadi having to reach back to try to catch it. And there's Braun having to try to hit it. Not a great location, but the movement enough to fool Ryan Braun.
It was a 2-out single to left field to account for the lone run scored tonight off the bat of Carlos Gomez. For the Cardinals, it is game number 51 here tonight. St. Louis has been remarkable here at home. One of the best starts at home in franchise history. One of the best starts, period. Overall, Cardinals 33-17. 6 in front of Chicago, 7 in front of Pittsburgh. 20-6 here at home. Ground ball to short. Make it 9 straight. Nice pick by Reynolds. Rick, I was telling you before the game, I was visiting with some of the coaching staff of the Brewers, and they said, look, Mark Reynolds is not going to win a Gold Glove. I get it. But he played Gold Glove defense for us at times at first base last year for Milwaukee. They feel he is a plus defender on that side.
Well, we've seen good hands, and he also is good with the footwork around the bag, too. You see him kind of going to the left, to the right, and actually behind the bag on throws that are high, and he looks very comfortable at first base. And saved an error there by Peralta, who's also been very steady at the shortstop position, but a good first baseman who can scoop that ball 3 or 4 times a month for you is going to save a lot of infield error.
That was coming from the Milwaukee staff. Ground ball to third. Matt Carpenter to Reynolds. 10 straight set down by Jaime Garcia as he gets Ramirez. We're midway through 4. 1-0 Milwaukee on top. Cardinals Pet Leash, compliments of Nestle Purina. They're available to 25,000 pet lovers ages 16 and older. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Johnny Peralta struck out looking back in the first. Cardinals had runners at first and second. So 2 on and 1 out. Peralta struck out, then Molina grounded into a force play at third, and the threat was through. Mike Fiers has struck out 3 so far. And the 0-1 pitch. And a base hit into left. Leadoff hit for Peralta brings in Molina.
You know, we were talking about that scoop play at first base by Reynolds, and this is something Jose Oquendo works on with the infielders at first base. He'll actually use the fungo, and there's Tony Cruz and Yadier Molina taking their turns, and all the first basemen and some others were working on this particular play. And I guess if you can catch it off a fungo, you can catch it off a low throw from Johnny Peralta.
Good stuff from the guys in the truck. As Molina shoots it into center field, backing up Gomez in front of the track to make the catch. And Peralta retreats back to the bag at first, one down. Jason Heyward popped out his first time up. Blues GM Doug Armstrong here at the ballpark. Unfortunately, not at Scott Trade. Early exit for St. Louis in the playoffs. And good luck to Ben Bishop, goaltender of the Tampa Bay Lightning and St. Louis Kid. One out runner at first. That's Johnny Peralta. And the 0-1 pitch to Jason Heyward.
If you're Craig Counsell, there's one thing that you hope for when you woke up this morning. I should say woke up this afternoon after getting in late this morning after a 17-inning game. You were just hoping against all possibilities that your starting pitcher would have a good day. I mean, you could hope for a lot of other things, but as long as your starting pitcher has a good day, you don't get into that bullpen and then kind of get right back to where you were 24 hours earlier. I mean, that's a problem. That's a real problem for him. We mentioned they did bring up a reliever, Cravey, from the minor leagues, so they've got some extra arms and some extra innings. In fact, if he doesn't pitch today, he's starting tomorrow. And if he does pitch today, somebody they don't know yet is starting tomorrow. So that's the kind of problem they're dealing with right now.
One ball and two strikes on Jason Heyward. One out and a runner at first. It's an all right-handed bench for the Cardinals with Peter Bourjos, Randal Grichuk, Ed Easley, Pete Kozma, and Tony Cruz. And the 1-2 pitch. Taken high and outside, evens it up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Very interesting to see from here on out, when healthy, who plays in the outfield for the Cardinals. Randal Grichuk has thrust himself into that conversation and then some. The 2-2. Inside, kept in front by Lucroy.
But always better to say which one should we play as opposed to who do we think can actually get the job done and not have a good answer at all for it. Better to have more answers. You think about teams around baseball, Dan. We've had a lot of conversations about the Cardinals' 5th starter, and again, we're still hoping to visit with Adam Wainwright here shortly. But you know, there are a lot of teams wondering who their 2nd starter is or their 3rd.
Heyward steps out, and Lucroy wants to visit here with Fiers. There's Randal Grichuk. What an exciting player he is.
He's shown that he can play all 3 outfield positions well. Not just play them, but play them well. Strong arm, good speed on the bases. Did make a base running mistake yesterday, but again, that'll happen. The offense is there. The bat that you and Tim were talking about, flat bat, has, I think, cut down on his strikeouts, but not his power, which is perfect.
Runner at first, Peralta, with 1 out. A 3-2 pitch, instead a check on Johnny. Fiers has got a pretty quick move. Peralta is running, and the 3-2 is hit the other way, sinking and caught. Parra will show off the arm, fires to first, and Peralta back in safely. Parra in left, a tremendous arm, and he showed it off there.
There's Peralta peeking in, which you do on a hit and run. He saw that it was a line drive. Perfect base running on his part. Gets back to the bag, and as you said, Parra has the arm, and it's good every once in a while to let people know you still have it. That makes you think later in the game, Dan, do you send a runner or not? I mean, there's a psychological fact there. Reynolds had that base hit his first plate appearance. We talked about him cutting down on his strikeouts, Dan. Since the 19th of May, he's only been striking out once out of every 5.8 times at the plate, which is almost twice as good as his career numbers. And he and John Mabry are working on shortening that swing, having a different two-strike approach, and I think it's working for him. The power is still there occasionally, but the two-strike approach, I think, is also improving.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Reynolds. He's just about due for a home run. He's got 3 this year, 13 RBIs. He's batting .257 after his base hit to right beat the shift. That was back in the second inning. The 1-0 pitch to Mark Reynolds. With a fly ball, got in just enough, and Parra makes the catch. We hope to visit with Adam Wainwright when we come back. We miss him on the mound. Love to have him here in the booth. A visit from Waino coming up next. Top of 5 rolls in, 1-0 Brewers. And great to have you with us, and also Adam Wainwright as well. I wish you were on the field, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Me too. I desperately wish I was still playing. Trust me.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I really am. Listen, the best thing I can do is make the most out of the situation I'm in and try to help this team any way I can and show up as a positive influence. The worst thing I can do is show up be a poor sport about things and pout about it and bring everybody down. So I'd rather be here with this team helping them win games.
Jason Rogers, Parham, and Sardinius against Jaime Garcia. Describe the process of what you've been through since the injury.
Really, I mean, not much, to be honest with you.
It's pretty boring.
Dr. George Paletta did the surgery. Is just as great a surgeon as there is, and our medical staff is amazing. Adam Olson and Greg Houck and Chris Conroy are taking great care of me in the training room, and I'm progressing slowly, but I'm progressing just like I should, and I'm on track to everything. So I can't really complain about things.
Adam, we were talking about Jaime Garcia and all the rehab that he's been through, and you've certainly had your share of that. And so just a little bit of, not the details of it, but it takes some time, and it's tedious at times for you, I'm sure.
It is. Rehabbing stinks.
Yeah.
You know, you want to be playing, you want to be out there on the field. The fans want to see you play, hopefully, and rehabbing can really stink. But you know, these guys are so trained at what they do to get us back onto the field. We trust them. We believe that what they do in that training room is going to get us back on there, make us better, and that's what we do. We show up every day, just like we had a workout to do or a bullpen to throw. We show up as rehabbers to get the most out of that time.
Another question I wanted to ask you, Adam, because I know you spoke very eloquently about the last time you were on rehab and you watched a lot of baseball. You were hurt. You watched a lot of baseball. You said very emphatically, in watching the game, I wondered why pitchers don't throw more strikes. I'm going to do that. And
Yep.
you did it. And
That's right.
The next year you came back. So my question is, now it's early, but have you had any kind of early epiphanies of, you know, something that you want to take to the field, that maybe visions you're seeing from just watching the game, or is it too early?
Well,
for
it's
that?
amazing how easy the game is from the couch. You know,
Right.
When you step away from it, you forget how fast the game is played and how easy it is to make mistakes. And sometimes I'm sitting there going, how could he possibly think that was the right pitch right there? And watching any game.
Right.
Or I can't believe he didn't hit that out of the park. But, you know, baseball is so fast at this level, and it's so highly skilled that it's an incredible game. You know, these guys are the best players in the world. And so I'm just having so much fun right now watching the great level of talent that's around the Major League Baseball.
How many guys, and this is Parra at the plate, runner at first is Rogers, that was an error on Garcia. How many guys have reached out to you in baseball that have dealt with this injury? Because not many have. Ryan Howard, Mark Mulder come to mind, but how many people have reached out to you about this? And then a follow-up to that, what have they said about trying to come back?
Yeah, I spoke with Mark Mulder, and I spoke with a few different people about the rehab, Jimmy Edmonds. And, everybody just kind of says, just follow the program. Don't try to get too quick with your recovery, and there's really no way to get too quick with your recovery because you can't go more than the boot will allow you or the cast will allow you. So I'm on a boot now. I'm putting 50% weight down onto my leg, and it's happening fast. I feel like it's happening just like it should, and everything is going as planned.
I've never heard a guy that's gotten hurt as positive as you have been. I mean, you came in, and I think you heard me say this on the telecast because you texted me and you said, darn right I'm coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like guys were ready to suit up and go to battle with you because you could tell the team was let down. The air was out of the room, and you met with the media, you talked to the players, and you said, hey, don't feel sorry for me. I'll be back, and let's go. Move on.
Well, I'm trying to decide if it's a good luck charm. You know, last time I got hurt, we won the World Series. And as much as I love the Cardinals, this is my last time I intend to get hurt so we can win the World Series. I would love nothing more than for us to go out there and do that this year. And hopefully I'm pitching in October. I mean, that's my goal, is to be getting outs in October. But we'll see how that goes.
Adam, I know you know that every place you go, but I want you to know every place we go, people are still thinking about you and hoping for your recovery, asking how you're doing. So I know you know that the Cardinal Nation has a great heart for you. But I want to talk about that part of you being back in that clubhouse again. You and I spoke about this when the Cardinals did win that World Series, that it's only very few people can do what you did, stay a part of that club while hurt. It's just not a normal thing to be able to do. How are you able to get that done?
Well, I've got a great situation here. This team has embraced me. These Cardinal fans have embraced me. This organization has embraced me and made me feel welcome. And they let me know from a very early position in this that I was welcome, that they wanted me here, a part of this team. And several guys said, "You're staying with us, right? Like we want
That's
you
great.
here." And that means so much to me. You know, the things I think when I'm done playing, and you probably know this, Ricky, as well as anyone, but when you look back, it's the relationships you build and your status in that clubhouse. When guys can look back and say, man, he was a great teammate. We loved having him around. That's like the highest honor you could ever get, I think. And so I'm trying to instill that every day in the clubhouse. I want to be that guy that people can come to with questions. I want to be that guy that's rooting for the team at the end of the year on the bench, whether I'm playing or not. And so I just want to be a positive influence. I want to help this great Cardinal club win the World Series.
When you watch games, so in this particular instance, you've been watching Jaime Garcia. If you detect a flaw, if you see something with his delivery, whatever the case may be, you talk about pitch selection. That's another way I'm sure that you've been a very vocal part of this team, pulling guys aside and saying, hey, from my unique position, this is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I've learned from some of the best teachers of baseball that there's ever been. I started off with Leo Mazzoni, went to Dave Duncan. I pitched with Chris Carpenter for a number of years, and those guys are geniuses when it comes to pitching. And so I feel like I have a vast pool of knowledge that I have if someone needs something or if I need to draw on it myself personally. But there has been times since I've been hurt where I pull a guy aside and say, well, here's what I see. Take it for what it's worth. But I believe that if you make this adjustment, you will see positive results. And because, you know, the time that you put in this game and with each organization matters, I've earned some leeway there among guys.
And certainly coaches always are on that fence of when is the right time to go in with that advice. Do you wait for somebody to ask for it? Do you kind of rush in and tell them? And I assume, Adam, that may change depending upon which pitcher we're talking about. And whether is it Jaime Garcia, is it Carlos Martinez? Who are you most able to kind of speak into at really when you do see something?
Well, there's right ways to offer something to anybody, really, but always as a pitcher, the hitter will tell you what you need to do. You know, if you're giving up line drives left and right, then you need to make some adjustments. And if you're having results, even if things just aren't right, maybe it's not the right time to incorporate big changes. Maybe it's very subtle changes here and there. So there's a right time and a right way to introduce it to anybody. But I'm not in there traditionally offering hitting advice in that holiday, you know, although I do see a few things.
Of course you do. Little chopper left side. Can they turn two? Nice turn, Courtois.
Am I back next?
By the way,
yes.
Okay, because I need to send a shout out to the video room at some point.
Well, you can't clap up here either. I just heard you clap. No clapping here in the booth.
He can do whatever he wants.
Get it right. The 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot. Voting is exclusively online and available on your computer, tablet, and smartphone. Cardinals.com/vote. Very kind of Adam Wainwright to join us here in the booth, and we just spoke to Rob Manfred, and he said, you are okay. There's no problem with you clapping. Now, if Rick claps or I clap, we're in trouble.
All right.
And you can wear a hat, too.
I can clap if I want to. Got it.
You can do that.
How about that? We've had the commissioner and now Adam Wainwright in the same
That's
game.
a good night.
It's
hard for me to turn the cheerleader off. That's what I am now. So
now
I'm a clapper.
Let me just say this: we're not doing those fancy handshakes and dances with you up here. I'm just saying that.
No, and when I hurt my elbow, my wife and a friend of ours made a cheerleading costume for me to dance around and do something silly in the clubhouse on opening day. But with a boot on your leg, a cast on your leg, you can't really dance too much. So it's been a lot of hand signals so far.
Probably a good thing.
1 ball, 1 strike on John Jay. In terms of you coming back, Adam, when will you start throwing and being able to do some of the baseball-related activities to get ready for next year in spring training?
Well, there's a strict protocol here, and we have the weeks mapped out on when they predict me to do this and that. And I believe sometime in August. I'm not sure about that. And I know the training staff is cringing down there, me telling the world what my timelines are. So I know it's sometime during the season. I'll just say that.
But the bottom line is you expect to be 100% next spring training and ready to roll.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that seems like a lifetime away, but this injury can be kind of tricky sometimes. So we'll just see how it goes.
John Jay into center field. There's Carlos Gomez. Some of our favorite moments. Adam Wainwright, who is with us here in the booth. Soon enough, he'll be doing that. Maybe he's doing it with one leg right now.
Oh, my word.
Do you get to see yourself doing these things?
I don't see it as much. That's why I keep doing it. Maybe if I saw it,
you're actually
I'd realize how bad it was.
Do you know that? You're turning a little red up here.
Well, I don't fancy myself as the greatest dancer there has ever been, but I do care. I do fancy myself as someone who doesn't really care about what it looks, and I know it makes people laugh in that clubhouse, and the fans seem to like it. The ones that comment on it, anyways. There's probably a lot of people out there cringing right now, but all that matters to me is to get that clubhouse and that locker or that dugout loose before a game. Sometimes there's so many nerves that go into a game that you just got to lighten it up a little bit.
Here's the 0-1 to Jaime Garcia. I have said this before. You probably have heard me say it, but one of the great moments ever in Cardinals history is David Freese's home run. I think we all agree with that. Well, if you look closely, Adam Wainwright is coming out of the dugout, and I'm watching you go berserk. Have you seen that? You know what I'm talking about?
I have seen that.
You're like shooting guns at the fans, boom, 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 jumping up and down.
Yeah.
I mean, it is hysterical.
Baseball has a funny way of making men kids, no matter how old you are. Fans, players, it doesn't matter. Baseball is a beautiful game, isn't it? It's a game that anybody can watch or play, and you can feel like you're 8 years old again. And we get paid to play that for a living, and so that might be part of our excitement. We get paid to play baseball. That's pretty cool as it is.
And having you two guys next to each other reminds me of the time that you came back and knew you were back from your first injury, and you pitched a game here in St. Louis against San Diego, and Dan interviewed you after the game, and you communicated, with emotion, with tears, that you knew you were back, and I'm envisioning you guys having that same interview next year.
It's so different about that was that Tommy John and the struggles I was having up to that point in the season, it was just trusted. It's going to come back. It's going to come back. It's going to come back. And going out there every time with maybe results and pitches that I didn't love and I wasn't intentionally trying to throw. And when I finally pitched a game that I knew I could pitch with the results I wanted, with the action on my balls I wanted, it was very, very emotional for me because I knew I was back, like you said. And there's a little doubt, whether you admit it or not, when you're coming back from an injury, there's always a little doubt in the back of your mind whether you're going to ever get back to 100% again. And so when I had that moment, it was like all the relief in the world, all the weight of the world was off my shoulders. So it was a great moment. And Dan Stinkin called me out on it, made me talk more. made me cry more.
Well, it's a great moment for me to watch, and I know for Cardinal fans to see the raw emotion, and that's really what you're talking about, the almost the childlike approach to playing this game, having fun, realizing that there are emotions and there is personality to this. You're, as Tony La Russa liked to say, you're men, not machines.
Yeah, we are, and right now I'm having a ton of fun. I can't even go in the clubhouse or in the dugout yet, but I'm having so much fun down there in that video room with Chad Blair and Ben Boltman, Big Mike, and Tim, and the rest of the guys that come in there, and it's like it's like a sports bar in there for me right now. I got my leg propped up. I got a stinking crushed ice drink sitting there waiting on me, and I'm having fun in whatever situation I'm in. But I'm here part of Cardinal Nation, and we're winning games.
Yadier Molina, looking at you two since 2006, the mainstays of this organization. What does he mean to you?
Man, I love Yadier Molina like he's my family. He is my family, and I'll tell anyone who will listen. I believe he's the best catcher in the history of the game, and I realize I'm probably a little biased, but I also know that he's been a part of making me and my career what it has been. He's been a part of our championships and making us go, and I think he's going to have a statue outside this stadium one day. I really believe that. His number's going to be out on that wall, and I'll always be able to tell my kids and anybody who will listen that I pitched to Yadier Molina, the greatest catcher to ever live.
The 2-2 is tapped foul. We're going to keep you in here for a half inning after this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And you can't leave.
No. We have some pictures that you sent me.
Okay.
You may recall from your charitable works in the off-season.
From Honduras.
Yes. I want to talk about
You sure?
those.
People might be tired of hearing me talk and not want to watch this game.
No chance.
No. The 2-2 pitch, and Wong strikes out. Guys, hold him down. He's trying to get out. Do not let him out. Come on back, Adam. Come on. He's staying with us. This half inning, we won't talk rehab. We talk what you're doing in the offseason. And this is from last year's offseason. Tell us about that picture that we saw there and some of the pictures we'll see after that.
The main picture there with the blue building is the water project that we built there in Coyolas, Aldea. And we did that through our fantasy football charity, Big League Impact. And we strive to be one of the most charitable or one of the most efficient charities in the world. That's our goal. And the last 2 years, we've given clean, safe water, self-sustaining water. Yeah, Scott Linebrink.
That's Scott Linebrink, right?
Yep. To over 8,000 people in Honduras, and we've built 120 latrines last year, and I helped build those latrines and bathrooms.
Nice pick by Peralta to his left for the out. And describe why you do it, because you've told me that these folks do not have clean water, and
No.
what a resource that is that we take for granted.
Yeah, it is something that it is something amazing. We can go to the bathroom and turn on the spigot and get clean water whenever we want to. And these people in Honduras and Haiti and Kenya and all over the place that we put these water projects in, if you went down to the local lake and pulled out the pond scum that looks like the grossest water that you can possibly imagine, that's what they're drinking, and it's infested with all sorts of terrible diseases, and it just makes the people so sick. And so the places that we've put these water projects in have been incredibly impacted.
So you're saving lives, number one, but it's also a system that's kind of self-sustaining going forward. So it's not a quick fix. It's going to have ongoing effect.
Exactly. And so what we do is we empower the villages we put these water projects in to be able to run and manage these water projects. And there's a lot of great organizations out there that build wells, and then they dig the well, they build the well, and they teach them how to pump the well, and then they leave and they never come back, and in 2 weeks' time the pump breaks and they put a padlock on and it's broken. And we passed hundreds of those things in Haiti with padlocks on them that aren't serviceable anymore. So what we do is we have somebody on the grounds for a year that teaches them how to use it, and then once we teach them how to use it properly, then that water it's a filtration system that is self-sustaining, that that there's no well bits that are going to get broken. It's just such a great system, and it's empowering and impacting so many people's lives. It's a great thing we're doing. We also built homes in Mexico, and this year our goal is to cure blindness for 7,000 people over in Africa, and deworm thousands of kids. And I mean, we just have great goals and ambitions for this project we're doing. And if you want to play fantasy football for charity and raise a lot of money to help a lot of great people, play with us this year. Play with your favorite Cardinal players. Play with Ozzie Smith. Play with Kurt Warner. Play with me or Matt Holliday or Matt Carpenter.
Marshall Faulk.
Yeah, and Marshall Faulk. If you want to hang out with us for a day and save lives, play fantasy football with us.
It's a pretty good deal. How do they sign up?
Pretty soon we'll open invites for people to sign up on bigleagueimpact.com. You can go there right now and put your name in for it.
If you want to stay another half inning, you can.
I better go. I've got a dish waiting downstairs with my name on it. It's steak and potatoes.
Thanks, Adam.
All right, thank you all very much.
Thanks for the visit. You bet.
BigLeagueImpact.com. Sign up right now. We'll do it in August. Raise a lot of money. Older, the 5th Stein in the championship series, which highlights the 30th anniversary of the Cardinals' 1985 National League Championship. And tickets are available at cardinals.com/promotions. Cannot say thank you enough to Adam Wainwright. That was a lot of fun. What a class act he is. First pitch from Fiers here in the home half of the 6th, popped up by Carpenter, and the catch made. A basket catch by Parham.
One pitch, one out. Matt Carpenter does not always swing at the first pitch, but if it's to his liking, he wanted that ball up and in, but popped it up.
What's on tap? Presented by Budweiser. Cravey, his major league debut, as Rick mentioned earlier, he's in the bullpen and available tonight. Lance Lynn for the Cardinals, who is 3-4, will come your way tomorrow at 6:30 on Fox Sports Midwest. That's the Budweiser What's on Tap. Here's Holiday with 1 out and nobody on. By the way, also Adam Wainwright earlier today met with kids from the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society before the game. That's a part of Wainwright's Winners, which he provides tickets for a lot of kids to come down to the ballpark. We've been around sports a long time. You don't find many better than that young man, Adam Wainwright. Man, is he a good guy.
So fun to have him with us. So again, the commissioner, Adam Wainwright, same night. Who do we have for the trifecta?
Here's the 0-2.
Hard to beat those two. Tony West?
Tony West.
Okay. We'll have him for the 7th.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Holiday. Tony West, who works on our crew. We call him the hardest working man in sports.
He would never say that about himself. He's too humble.
You sure about that?
That's what he told me.
Here's a 2-2 pitch. And Holiday shoots it foul. So 1 out here in the home half of the 6th. The Cardinals with 3 hits. Milwaukee with 2. Cardinals had a leadoff hit by Wong in the 1st. A base hit by Reynolds into right. That was in the 2nd. Peralta base hit into left. That was in the 4th. And that is now 8 in a row set down by Mike Fiers. A 6th strikeout. Arcia in the driver's seat. Highest on-base percentage at home. The Cardinals .351. Very impressive mark.
Part of the reason the Cardinals are 20-6 at home. That's the best home record in all of baseball. They've also been the best in the division at 17-7. But on-base percentage, if you're a hitting coach, that's a number you track, you care about. Not just batting average anymore. Of course, slugging percentage matters. Can you hit with power? But that on-base percentage, can't score if you don't get guys on base.
2 outs, nobody on, and here's a 1-0 pitch. And by the way, when Adam was talking about mingling with the players and Kurt Warner, Marshall Falk, some of the others, I had the chance to MC that event last year. And you know, sometimes people say that. No, you are sitting at the seats and rubbing elbows and talking trash with each other about your picks. It's a private function here at the ballpark. You make your donation, get your ticket, and you're playing fantasy football. And it's really an all-day event. Here at the ballpark, you'll be in a suite. And a walk to Peralta. The That's BigLeagueImpact.com. Next time you're looking for great seats, head to StubHub. There are no surprise fees at checkout. That's right, on StubHub. The price you see is the price you pay. Plus, with the StubHub app, you can buy and sell Cardinals tickets anytime, anywhere. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Cardinals. The second walk issued by Fiers snaps a string of 8 straight that he set down. Peralta's on base for the second time, and here's Yadier Molina. One of the key spots in the game for the Cardinals was in the first inning, with runners at first and second. And a 3-0 pitch to Molina that he swung on and was jammed and grounded out weakly to third.
Cardinals really haven't had much hope since then, or much of a chance to score since then. And Yadi electing to swing at that 3-0 pitch and got himself jammed a bit. I think the ball moved last second in on his hands. Not the swing you want to see. 3-0, not the swing certainly he planned.
And an 0-1 pitch to Molina. Popped up to the right side. Rogers giving chase. And out of play. No balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, the Cardinals have not had a man in scoring position since the first inning.
I think you're more apt to swing, Dan, 3-0 against a pitcher that seldom walks batters, because you have the assumption that he's going to come back. Even though it's 3-0, you just don't think he's going to walk you. So that 3-0 pitch might be the best pitch you're going to see. I know that's what he was thinking. The execution just didn't happen, but it's a game of execution. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. And as Adam Wainwright said, it looks a lot easier when you're lying on a couch. That was terrific, wasn't it?
It was great.
Most fun I've had in an interview since you interviewed my mom.
You said you were a nervous wreck that interview.
Well, it was fun, but I was nervous. It could be both.
It was a couple years ago, and she was here for Mother's Day.
Correct.
And she was just hanging out behind us, and I said, well, why don't you come on, Mrs. Horton? And Rick's, no, leave her there. Oh, hi, Mom. Yeah, we'd love to have you on. Rick went in the corner and started biting his nails. Yadi goes down to get it. It's bobbled, and it's a base hit. 56-degree pitching wedge for Yadier Molina. How did he hit that?
Well, this is how you hit the 56-degree. You get that little backspin, and it just kind of sits right there on the green. In the infield, ends up as an infield hit for Molina. Yadi just does not strike out. Again, in the top 10 in the National League in terms of being difficult to strike out. He puts the ball in play. He has a very good approach in that regard. He's just not going to let the pitcher strike him out, even though Fiers is a guy that strikes out nearly 11 batters every 9 innings this year. He's really good at putting people away. Yadi's just one of the tougher ones to do it with.
Now Jason Hayward, runners at first and second. First man in scoring position for the Cardinals since the first inning. And a 1-0 pitch to Hayward. One ball, 1 strike.
Another example of Fiers. We mentioned it in the first inning. Likes to pitch inside, needs to pitch inside, needs to establish it. And when he's throwing inside, he's got the ball running inside. And Jason jumped away from that last delivery.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Hayward. On its way. Good cut. Yadier Molina, first inning, 3-0.
So he's thinking drive the ball. There's that last minute movement he did not expect on that 3-0 delivery, and he got jammed. And here's the 0-2 pitch off the plate. the 56-degree wedge.
Baseball's a funny game, isn't it?
Very much is. I think the visit with Adam Wainwright just kind of reminds you of that, doesn't it?
And it's a fun game.
It is. It's supposed to be. It has to be. And really, Commissioner Manfred talking about getting in touch with young people and loving the fun of baseball. And, you know, some people love numbers, some people don't. And we move so much into the numbers world, we got to kind of remember the joy of playing, running and catching and throwing.
That's my point.
Well, and I'm not saying there's not a room for numbers. I happen to be a guy that I have fun with numbers, but not many people do. But for young people to get connected to kind of some of the magical moments about this game.
And the 1-2 pitch. And the magical people in this game. Get to know them as people.
Well, and you said it, baseball has to do a better job of letting us know who Mike Trout is and who Adam Wainwright is, so these young people will know who they are, so they can connect to them better. And that's really what Adam Wainwright said. That's really what he misses. That's what the game's all about, is the relationships and people. Finding ways to bring the personality of the player more to the forefront.
Here's another 1-2 pitch. Inside, 2-2. This crowd is on the edge of their seats right now, waiting for something positive. They're back in this game. Fiers is at 97 pitches. And Will Smith is getting loose, a lefty in the pen for Milwaukee. Historically, this has been the month where Jason Heyward usually heats things up in June.
This is one of those that you want to have a string attached to it. It slips out of your hand, and you just know it's going nowhere good. And you just hope you can kind of pull it back into play a little bit. Looked like a curveball that just slipped out of his hand.
Runners off with this pitch. Crowd comes alive. A 3-2 to Heyward. Popped up. The threat is through. Again, a pitch inside to Jason Heyward. We enter the seventh. Brewers on top. The Cardinals 17-7. The Mets 10 games above 500. Detroit, Houston, Kansas City. Those are all teams that we're talking about that have postseason aspirations and have a good chance.
They're all winning. The most surprising of them all, certainly the Houston Astros, that they've been able to do that, not necessarily within the division, but just overall that their record's so good. Speaking of good, Jaime Garcia, since that first inning, gave up a couple of hits. He's been getting nothing but ground balls since then. And that is Jaime Garcia.
And Rick, he's given up, as you mentioned, 2 hits, both coming in the first, Segura and Gomez. And after that, no hits allowed.
And again, the big difference to me is the ball is lower in the strike zone now. He's very hard to square up when he is knee high or below when it gets to the plate. It's just moving too much. It's moving downward. You can tell by all the ground balls. We've had 1, take that 2 fly ball out since that first inning. Everything else, strikeout or on the ground.
Good tailing action on that pitch. Flows never stop improving, and after a slow start, Ryan Braun has picked it up. Brewers have talked about his hand, which was such an issue a year ago, not anymore. And a heck of a May with 8 home runs.
Also 28 RBIs in a month. The OPS through the roof. 28 times 6 would be a lot of RBIs if you could do that for 6 straight months.
Chop left side, taken there by Carpenter. A look at the Mazda game summary with 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Milwaukee with an RBI from Carlos Gomez with 2 outs, a single to left in the first to account for the lone run. Fiers has been good, 6 innings. The story right now, Jaime Garcia, 6 1/3. And Matt Holliday extending his base streak in terms of reaching base to start the year at 45 consecutive games. Pitch in the dirt to Carlos Gomez.
And Dan, by my count, Jaime Garcia has been able to get 4 ground balls to Carpenter, 4 ground balls to Peralta, and a couple to the right side of Colton Wong. We talked about the defense being active and important behind a pitcher like Jaime Garcia. And the only error in this game Garcia made himself on a ball that it was hit back to him, and it wasn't on the catch, it was on the throw.
And that error was erased then later in the 5th on a double play. But ground ball after ground ball here tonight. There's the fly ball right on cue. And hit out of play.
But you can see how he had to work to get that ball elevated. He went down and kind of lifted a little bit, didn't actually hit that ball well, and that's the point. It's hard to square the ball up when it's thrown that low in the zone. Very few hitters can do that. We've seen Matt Carpenter do that well when pitchers are trying to get him to keep the ball in the infield in a sacrifice fly situation. He gets lower and somehow is able to lift, but that's hard to do.
Little chopper, tough play for Peralta as Gomez beats it out, flying down that first base line. Matter of fact, Jaime Garcia with 13 ground ball outs. Remember, Gomez got hurt on a similar play like that, running down the line, trying to beat out a play. It was here in St. Louis and then hurt his hamstring. Here's Aramis Ramirez, twice has grounded out to third. 0 for 2.
They were already off to a bad start, but they dealt with Lucroy injury and Gomez injury in a relatively short period of time, and that was just too much for them to be able to handle. It really cost Ron Renick his job in some ways, because Gomez is the exciting player on this team. Lucroy is the leader on this team. So those two, you miss them both. You miss your heart and soul both, you're in trouble.
First hit for Craig Counsell's club since back in the first inning. An infield hit by Gomez, a threat to steal. There have been a total of 18 attempts against Yadier Molina this year. He has caught 7. In his career, he has caught 40% of Brewers base stealers. The 1-0. Had that shot of Craig Counsell. Talked to him before the game as we get a look at this pitch. Right down central. Craig, his father worked for the ball club for years, so he grew up at the ballpark day in and day out. He said he was actually in St. Louis for the 1982 World Series with the Brewers and the St. Louis Cardinals. Here's a ground ball again. Only play for Carpenter across the diamond. Nice pick by Reynolds.
That's 3 times Ramirez has bounced out to Matt Carpenter. Another ground ball out for Garcia. And another nice play by Mark Reynolds at the other end.
This is the first runner in scoring position for Milwaukee since back in the first inning. Jason Rogers, a breaking ball and a strike.
Pitch count by inning for Jaime Garcia. Really hasn't had a bad inning. Couple under 10.
Now 0-2. This is as well as we've seen Garcia pitch, obviously, this year. But this is Jaime Garcia at home. I mean, he has been so good in his career here at home. He's only at 84 pitches. Statistically, one of the best ever, literally ever, at this ballpark. One ball, 2 strikes. On 1-2, runner goes, and it doesn't matter. Swung on and missed. A strikeout, number 4 for Jaime Garcia. Time to stretch. 1-0 Milwaukee. Against the St. Louis Cardinals, the only no-hitter in Mets history. The only team without a no-hitter, San Diego. David Freese, the final hope for the Cardinals. Pitch number 134. Santana, though, he paid for it, that no-hitter. Since that time, he made a total of 10 starts, 3-7. ERA was close to 9, and opponent's average well above 300. Terry Collins saying it was his toughest decision ever that he's had to make as a manager, whether or not to leave him in. He did. History was made, but it came at a price.
Well, sometimes it does, and you wonder what Johan Santana will feel about it 10 or 15 years from now. He may be glad he did it.
Here's a ground ball and a base hit for Reynolds against Jonathan Broxton, the new pitcher in for Milwaukee.
We'll see just how weary this Brewers bullpen is after the 17 innings yesterday.
And remember Carlos Beltran in that game?
Oh, yeah.
And a ball hit down the third base line that should have been ruled a fair ball.
And this was pre-instant replay, so it was not reviewable. There was no such thing. And that would have perhaps changed. It would have changed that particular game.
And now it's John Jay. First pitch to the Cardinals center fielder, taken for a strike. It's the Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. Gateway Honda dealers will donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. How about Mike Fiers? He's now made 7 starts against the Cardinals, over 43 innings, and a 1.45 ERA after what he did tonight.
And an ERA over 4 against everybody else.
Here's an 0-1 pitch to Jay.
I mean, you really do at some point start to ask around of other teams, and other players, how you doing that? I mean, what is it about? What's your approach on Fiers that we're missing? Could just be the matchup. There's Herrera taking over at third base.
And a ground ball hit left side. Segura trouble getting it out of the glove. They'll get the lead man Reynolds, and the only play for Sardinas.
Segura was having some defensive problems the last time we saw him, and part of what he was doing is he was double clutching a lot, and he was kind of moving his feet a lot, and there he just off balance finally gets a handle on the baseball. It's almost like he's trying to be a little too quick perhaps, and the transfer from glove to ball, which we all take for granted. Man, I mean, Colton Wong is extraordinarily good on turning double plays. You pointed out every time he does it. Why? Because he takes the ball from glove to hand in, I mean, as fast as anybody. And that's what is so special, that not only does he get the ball from glove to hand, but he gets it firmly in his hand in a position to throw.
Randall Grichuk, the pinch hitter now for Jaime Garcia. Ooh, what a cut. Grichuk 0 for 6 as a pinch hitter this year. Here's an 0-1. You know, the Cardinals are down by a run. You've got Rodriguez looking ahead to the 9th. Broxton could give you 2 innings potentially here tonight. You're down by 1, and with this team, you almost have the feeling they're going to win.
Oh, yeah.
The way that things have been going this year. Here's a 1-1 pitch.
Cardinal fans are conditioned that way.
Nasty pitch by Broxton, who came over late last season to Milwaukee from Cincinnati. Former closer with the Dodgers.
Slider. Grichuk could not pick that one up. Thought it was a fastball. Swung over top. You know, last year, Dan, we talked about how few emotional come from behind wins this Cardinal team had in the early going, and how important it is to have those to develop this connection. This year, a different story.
Double play ball, 6-4-3. Nice turn by Sardinius. This time a clean exchange for Segura out of the glove. Fox Sports Midwest, we go to our studio and a Bommarito Sports Update. "30 seconds on a home run trot." Wow.
Well,
that's how you get hurt or get someone on your team hurt.
Exactly. My blood's boiling when just talking about that. You know, Pat never says anything that bothers me, and he just did. I think he was trying to get under my skin.
Probably so.
I might throw at you before the game's over just because I'm so agitated.
Wouldn't hurt.
Good point. What a shame that Jaime Garcia is on the downside of this particular game with 7 innings, can't pick up the win. Randy Choate takes over for him. He was just spectacular today. No walks. Again, that's 2 straight games for Garcia where he's pounded the strike zone. Another low hit game for him. Just terrific.
Nice play by Choate. Here's your DraftKings players to watch update. Stanton, Goldschmidt, Harper, and Braun. Enter promo code CARDS. Then again, unfortunately, Ricky saw me throw in fantasy camp, and he knows if I threw at him, it definitely wouldn't hurt.
I'd be barehanding you. I'm not. But you can hit, Dan.
Oh, yeah. Right. Chevy call to the pen. Matt Belisle coming on. Hyundai pitch arsenal for Matt Belisle.
Fastball, slider, changeup, curveball from Belisle, and he's often just trying to set up the slider. That, I think, is still his best pitch. And for the most part, he's a guy that throws strikes. Not overpowering. A little bit like Seth Maness in some ways, to me. Going to use his slider more than Maness would. And doesn't quite have the same sink action on his fastball. But in terms of just working quickly, throwing strikes, the numbers are good. ERA 2.49.
And the 0-2 pitch. Past Carpenter and into left field. Big happy 4th birthday to a big Cardinal fan, Brooks Duckworth. Happy birthday to Brooks Duckworth. Base hit for Sardinhas, and Ilian Herrera, part of the double switch, in the 9th position in the lineup, will bat with 1 out and a runner at first base. Cardinals will have the top of the lineup, looking ahead to the bottom of the 8th.
One thing we didn't really touch on, Dan, but the Brewers, in having to use Garza a day early, meaning they also have to use Fiers a day early. Not that he wasn't on enough rest, but mentally maybe not quite thinking that today's going to be his day, and all of a sudden you're in the middle of a game and you've got to kind of think differently. Perhaps he long tossed that day as an example. That's not something you might not do that the day before you pitch. You'll throw differently. You won't throw as much perhaps. And so all of a sudden your plan is altered by their 17-inning game yesterday, and he seemed to kind of get through that today without any issues at all. In fact, he might change his routine next time.
Here's the 0-1. Little flare out to left. That's a base hit. Sardinhas advancing to second base. It's a great point you make, because the mental aspect of it, as you said, he's on normal day's rest, but mentally you're thinking Tuesday night, not Monday night.
Yeah, it's a routine that you're in, and we saw that happen with the Kansas City Royals, and they had an issue where they sent a guy out and they moved 2 guys up, and I don't know that was it worked as well for them, and it's understandable. Guys are such creatures of habit and preparation.
And now it's Gene Segura with 2 runners on. Good slider there from Belisle for strike 1. Segura, a single down the right field line to start the game. Scored on a 2-out base hit by Gomez. Also grounded out to second in the 3rd. Grounded out to short in the 6th. 0-1 pitch. Jaime Garcia, in his 7 innings, gave up 1 run, no walks, obviously a key. Strikes out 4 and 14 ground ball outs.
Very efficiently, too.
0-2 is a fly ball lifted to right, backing up Hayward in a position to throw. Misses the cut on a hop to 3rd, and Herrera stays put at the bag at first. You could see a scenario there. If he reads that over the head of the cutoff man, he should be at second base.
Yeah, you don't want to be wrong about that, but you could run into an out, but the runner at first base, Herrera, probably could have seen that ball was going to be airmailing the cutoff man. He's going to tag up. He understands the situation. Lead runner's tagging. I do too. You watch the throw, and he just wasn't sure whether or not Peralta would be able to jump high enough to catch that ball. If he does catch it, he's out. So you better be sure that throw from Hayward misses the cutoff man.
So Joe West saying, we need a new baseball. Throws that ball out that was in the glove of Belisle, and now it's Jonathan Lucroy. There's a shoestring grab back in the first by Jay to Rob Lucroy. He's grounded to short, also grounded out to second. Been a tough start with the injury, but was not off to a good start. Hitting just 125 now is Lucroy.
I wonder if that baseball hit the dirt on the throw from Hayward in from right field, and maybe Joe thought, hit the dirt, we need to throw it out.
Little grounder to the right side. Wong is there. Brewers strand 2.
We may never know. And you know what? He may not even know. Just felt like doing it.
To Fox and Fox Sports 1 for the first time. The greatest golfers in the world converge on the Pacific Northwest for a chance to stamp their names in the history books. Exclusive coverage of the 115th U.S. Open Championship live from Chambers Bay Golf Course begins June 18th. Fox Sports 1, Fox, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Neil Kotz, the Chevy call to the pen. The lefty is in for the 22nd time. And he'll get, it looks like, the first two lefties to start the bottom of the 8th. Wong and Carpenter. After that, it's Matt Holliday.
Running out of time.
Jeffress, a hard-throwing right-hander, getting loose in the pen, and there's a slider taken low and away. Wong has singled to right, lined out to right, and struck out in the 5th. And that's a base hit into left center field. Wong thinking two right out of the box. The hard turn at first base. He'll stop there. A leadoff hit for Kolten Wong.
Good attempt by Segura and just barely over his glove. And that's a good at-bat. Wong against a lefty. We've seen a number of those at-bats, and certainly Carpenter capable of hitting a left-hander as well.
A lot of times a number 2 in various lineups would be undoubtedly bunting in this spot. But with Matt Carpenter,
let him swing.
You got to let him swing.
Depends on who your number 2 is. You know, the classic number 2 hitter has really gone the way of the dinosaur. I mean, it's not the guy who's going to bunt. It's not Ted Sizemore and Tommy Herr anymore. It's a guy that's going to hit 25, 30 home runs and maybe drive in runs. And I mean, in most cases, it's become more of a power spot. And I really think Tony La Russa was at the cutting edge of developing that philosophy. He wants somebody with pop and danger in that 2-hole.
A lot of that was due in part because of his number 3 hitter, which was Pujols. So you're going to get pitches to hit in that second spot.
Well, he did it all the way back when he was with the White Sox with Carlton Fisk in that second spot. He's not your typical Ted Sizemore, Tommy Herr either.
Oh, no. Here's the 0-1. Carpenter is 0 for 3. 2 flyouts to left and was called out on an outside pitch back in the third. Fires 6 innings tonight, 6 strikeouts. Broxton had the 7th. Gave up a hit, no runs. And now Neil Cutts. So Carpenter strikes out. Craig Counsell will go back to his bullpen, and he went to his bullpen an awful lot yesterday.
13 in the third innings. Again, 8 relievers yesterday, and they pitched well. A lot of pitches, a lot of outs, but a lot of work.
Sounded emotional, but
I did. It's choking me up. I hate to see relievers use that much. It's painful.
Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light Lime, the perfect beer for whatever happens. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Didn't Adam Wainwright tell us that there'll be a statue of Yadier Molina out there someday?
I think he's spot on.
And he actually said, I'm going to tell my kids and friends that I once got to play with Yadier Molina. There'll be a lot of people saying that about Adam Wainwright, but that was pretty special to have Adam with us and to hear him say that.
This is a hard thrower in Jeffress, right-hander. Holiday 2 for 6. Matt has walked tonight. If you're wondering about his on-base streak, it has continued. That was back in the first. And the 1-0. Woof. 95 on the gun. 1 ball, 1 strike. Holiday struck out looking in the third, swinging in the sixth. And that's into right, base hit. Wong to second, on his way to third. Runners at the corners for the Cardinals. Just one out here in the bottom of the 8th.
You know, there are times where you make the pitch on Matt Holliday you want to, and this still happens, where he gets a base hit. Wong, Cardinals have been aggressive on the base paths. We talked about that. No question about him being able to go first to third, but Holliday gets jammed, but still gets the hit. And again, this Cardinal team, Dan, 14 come from behind wins. Only the Astros with more here through the first couple months of the season.
And now Johnny Peralta was caught looking back in the first, single to left and walked. Breaking ball got away.
You know, one of the other things, if you're Craig Counsell, as we look at that pitch right at the coconut of Johnny Peralta, you have to be a little more cautious in how you use your bullpen, because the very worst thing that could happen to him would be extra innings today. And so you might not use the right matchup that you would use normally because you're worried about saving bullets out there.
The 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes. On deck, Molina. Outfield is straight away for Johnny Peralta. But this crowd here at Busch Stadium ready to erupt. The 2-0. 2 balls and 1 strike. The 2-1 pitch. Inside, 3-1. If you're Peralta, you could be very selective in this spot. He's 2 for 6 against this hard-throwing right-hander.
Pick out a spot. You make the strike zone half as big as it really is. And you take that part of the zone and say, if the ball's in there, I'm swinging. If not, I've got one more pitch to deal with.
3-1 pitch. Tied him up as he chased a ball. Now it is a full count, 3-2. Runners at first and third.
That pitch was not in that smaller zone.
On 3-2, Peralta strikes out. From 3-1 to a strikeout for Jeffress. Yellowwood bringing the lumber. You may remember this off of Todd Coffey and a grand slam for Yadier Molina that night. Can he come through late here in 2015? Seven for 20. 2 outs, runners in scoring position this year. Two outs, 2 on. Strike 1 on Molina.
Jeffress showing a live fastball. It's 95, but it actually, from our vantage point, Dan, looks faster than that. It's got life and hop to it. And he is going to be very, very difficult to square up. But Yadi, as we mentioned, very difficult to strike out. Normally puts it into play to try to make something happen.
Ooh, you think about a wild pitch too.
Thinking about it now.
Jeffress was really highly thought of. Ran into some personal issues away from the game. Has got that sorted out. And you can see why teams would have an interest in him with this arm. It is big time. 1 ball, 1 strike. We have seen fires. Broxton, Kotz, and now Jeffress.
Strikeout of Carpenter big in this inning too.
Mentioned it, he is tough to strike out.
I'll tell you, that's a good swing, Dan. A 1-2 pitch. Guys humping it up there, and you've got the whole plate to protect, and you know he's got that great movement and the live fastball. That's still a pretty good swing. If he squared that one up, and he almost did, got a chance to drive that ball the other way and tie this game.
Strikeout of Yadier Molina. Jeffress has come in, allowed the single to Holiday. Cardinals had first and third, only 1 out, and then back-to-back strikeouts of Peralta and Molina. All right, thank you, Pat. Looking forward to it. Cardinals have stranded 8, missed a golden opportunity in the bottom of the 8th. And now it's Matt Belisle who picked up the final 2 outs at the top of the 8th to pitch here and start the 9th with Braun, Gomez, and then Jeffress' spot due up. First pitch, grounder to short. Peralta, 1 away. Cardinals will have Hayward, Reynolds, and Jay looking at to the bottom of the 9th as Carlos Gomez digs in. And he's 2 for 3 tonight with the only RBI in this game. 1-0 Milwaukee.
Lucroy, Braun, and Ramirez 0 for 11. You expect to beat the Brewers. especially for the Cardinals with what we've seen Braun do in his career, and Ramirez, especially against the Cardinals. He has just been a run producer, and Gomez, one of the Brewers that has gotten a couple of hits tonight.
Soft liner to Wong, 2 down. Adam Lind did not start with the lefty Garcia on the mound, and he'll be the pinch hitter with 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. You can't say enough about Jaime Garcia and how well he pitched here this evening. Can the Cardinals get him off the hook? Francisco Rodriguez, K-Rod, getting loose in the pen. It's winding up with some of the best stats ever by a closer.
Yes. Talking about career now, but you can also look back at some of the single seasons he's had too. He's going to be a lot of record books, to be sure.
That drops in for his strike. 0-2. He goes in, and let's see now if he goes away.
He tried to go back door with that little slider or cutter. Got a little bit more of the plate than he wanted to. That's pitching, Dan. In and away, in and away. Sometimes you double up, in, just to keep him honest. Pitching's been really, really good here tonight, both ways.
Up the middle and a base hit. Adam Lind on a 1-2 pitch. Brings in Jason Rogers.
Again, he was trying to throw that backdoor slider, and it just got more of the plate than he wanted, and he's trying to actually get him looking. Usually when you go backdoor, you're trying to kind of catch him by surprise, but he got too much of the plate. That's Kyle Loesch pinch running. How about that?
So 2 outs. Loesch the runner at first base. Rogers is 0 for 3.
I pinch ran for Steve Braun once. In 1984, Whitey had me pinch run for Steve Braun. The next day he challenged me to a race. Steve Braun did it, beat me. He went and told Whitey, "Don't you ever pinch run for that guy again."
Off the mound. Whoa. Wong jumps for it. Oh, what a play by Colton Wong. Wow. Takes a hit away from Rogers. Hayward, Reynolds, Jay coming up against K-Rod. 1-0 Milwaukee. And this jump timed perfectly.
Wow. And he had to be ready for it because the ball hits the mound. He can't give up on it. There's the sky that goes long and the throw. That's a terrific play. Matt Belisle on the mound, past him, but not past the Cardinals' second baseman.
Francisco Rodriguez against Jason Hayward. Here we go. Bottom of the ninth. Little flare. Left field. Drops it. Tying run is on. Winning run will come to the plate. K-Rod, by the way, 356 career saves. 10th all time. 2 back of his former teammate Troy Percival. That's the numbers this year. Chevy called to the pen. You mentioned the single season marks that he's had, which have been some remarkable seasons. His best, 2008, he had 62 saves. That's the all-time record. He's 8 for 8 in save opportunities this year.
Reynolds certainly the opportunity to win it with one swing of the bat. The Cardinals have already used Randal Grichuk off their bench.
And a fastball and a strike. The Brewers, 8 saves. That's a bit surprising there. No career walk-offs for Reynolds, but 8 saves, 14th in the National League. 4 blown saves. Only Miami with fewer saves this year than Milwaukee.
Reynolds looking fastball here out in front. You can see him swinging over the top of that delivery.
And a punch out of Reynolds. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Jay 2 for 9 against the Brewers closer in his career. Hayward the runner at first. Rodriguez has always had that tremendous changeup, which has gotten better over the years. And initially, that slider was just unhittable.
Yeah, I think of him early on with the great slider, the great fastball, and the changeup too. But you're right, the changeup, he's going to it now. It's his dominant pitch. He's kind of rediscovered himself again. He's only thrown 1 fastball, the rest changeup so far. And another one. But that nasty curveball, Dan, you think about it when he was saved in 40-plus games, it was just really unhittable.
Well, that's when you know the guy has got great confidence in his changeup. He's just thrown 2 back-to-back here with Jon Jay.
As he did with Mark Reynolds to catch him looking. And if you've got confidence with it and it's your out pitch, you might throw it again.
The 0-2. He went with it again.
Sure, that 89-mile-an-hour fastball looked about 94 probably. And when he used to throw at 94, it would be unhittable right there, and Jon Jay would be taking a seat. He's able to get a bat on that. Very deep in the outfield for Jay. They're in the no doubles defense.
Jay trying to get hit by the pitch. We've seen that a time or two, haven't we?
6 times this season. become very good at allowing that pitch to hit off the back foot, the front knee, the whatever.
The 2-2 in the dirt.
Now you've got a really interesting question of whether or not you send Jason Heyward. 3-2, 1 out, 9th inning. You don't want to strike him out, throw him out, but you also don't want to double play. Do you trust that Jon Jay will put the ball in play or not? That's the question. You know Heyward can run well. Do you take the gamble or not? It would be a gamble.
Heyward is running. Swung on and missed. Throw to second and save. The Cardinals still alive. Part of that equation, too, to an extent, I would think, is seeing all the changeups. You know, you're not getting the fastball, and that split-second difference with the changeup and fastball may be the difference here.
You also have a guy that's been successful at a high rate in stealing bases, too. You're absolutely right, Dan, when it comes to the changeup. And Lucroy's going to make sure he stays back and frames the pitch on a 3-2. He's going to make sure it's a strike if Jay doesn't swing. There's a lot of little factors involved in that. Still a gamble, paid off. Now he's in scoring position.
2 outs. And the tying run at second base. And I want you to run through the outfield arms right now, the Milwaukee Brewers.
Well, the arm you want to stay away from is the one in left field. Parra has a terrific arm, but so does Gomez in center. So you've got really 2+ arms from left and in center. Average arm in right, certainly for a right fielder in Ryan Braun. Not a bad arm, just I would say average.
Borges, first pitch in the dirt.
And it's not just their arms, it's how well would they charge a ball on a base hit off the bat of Peter Borges. Good speed at second base. You know Heyward's going to go. Base hit, you got to send him, no matter where it is. But when an outfielder can close on a ball, as we saw in the Dodgers series, Carpenter thrown out at the plate, outfielder charging the baseball made the difference in him being out.
Braun is now backed up a step or two in right. Here's a 1-0 pitch. If we get there, Colton Wong is on deck. The 1-1. 1-2.
Heyward is getting a very big lead at second base. Painting the outside corner is K-Rod.
Sardinez is trying to keep Heyward close at second, but then Rodriguez allows him to get back in position.
Right.
Heyward takes another step or two.
Exactly.
One-two pitch. Here's a 2-2. Borges stays away. Well, certainly, if you're K-Rod, you do not want to deal with Colton Wong on deck.
No.
They want to make sure they're on the same page.
Talking pitch selection here. Which way do you want to do it? Interesting, Yadi using that moment to do a little teaching of Carlos Martinez. Always conversations going on in that dugout, in the bullpen, in the clubhouse. Fun moment here.
The 3-2 pitch. And Borges draws a walk. Called wrong. Steps in with 2 outs and 2 on. Good at bat by Peter Borges to stay away from a couple of sliders.
Could have very easily chased and didn't.
Wong, a 2-hit night. Single to right in the first, a single to left off of Neil Kotz in the 8th. He's also lined out to right and struck out in the 5th. Right now, the Brewers facing one of the Cardinals' hottest hitters.
And exactly the guy you want on first base right now.
A pickoff and safe. Stuck in the glove of Segura. Craig Counsell out to the top step to make sure that he indeed is safe. And is he? Did the knee block his path to the bag? I believe they will replay this.
And I'm not sure where the ball is in. I mean, it's literally in his glove.
He might be out.
Where's the hand? Has he actually tagged him? There's the hand on the bag. When Segura catches the ball, what I'm not sure of is he tagging Hayward at first or not. There's the tag. Is the tag on him? I don't think he's tagged him yet. I think it's not that the throw didn't beat him there, but is the glove really on Hayward or not? Or is it in front of him? Boy, I'd like to see an angle from straight down, which of course we can't give you, but
the Brewers, by the way, are standing on the mound, the players, and looking at the replay on the big board here at the ballpark, and they just raised up their arms as if to say, this game's over. They think they got him.
Wow. There's the move. There's the tag. Is the glove on Hayward or not? Not that he catch the ball or did it beat him, but is the glove on Hayward right there or not? From the reverse angle, it looked like it wasn't on Hayward then or there.
Another situation where they have to be definite on a call to overturn it, and you would think especially in this situation.
My guess would be they can't overturn this. And I'm not so sure he's not out, but I can't be sure that, from what I saw, that the glove was actually on Hayward. Let me go get the commissioner back in here.
In the meantime, Rodriguez, who threw 22 pitches yesterday, continues to throw now, just waiting.
Well, we were sensing the big lead of Hayward. You and I both saw it and saw that the middle infielders were kind of trying to cheat in there to make sure that he was not getting too far off. And they do the pickoff play. Perfect throw from K-Rod. And in an odd way, the ball sticking in the glove made that almost a strange tag, too. Was the ball touching Hayward while it was in his webbing of his glove? So hard to tell. So the call on the field was safe.
This is the nightmare for Major League Baseball. Game on the line and it ends like this, but yet if it continues, everybody's standing around and just waiting and watching.
I think part of the nightmare is it takes you out of the flow too.
Here we go. Cardinals still alive.
The ball's in the glove. Is the glove touching Hayward or not?
So here we go. 2 outs, 2 on. Colton Wong. Crowd on their feet. all of a sudden your K-Rod, you got to rev it back up.
He was throwing a lot while the umpires were talking, and he was staying loose. There was conversation, as you mentioned, on the mound with all the Brewers infielders, but he was also throwing.
Last blown save for K-Rod was August 27th of last year. Since that time, he's converted his last 13 save opportunities. Little chopper to the right side, and the play is made, and this game is over. Milwaukee shuts out the Cardinals. Brewers have shut out the Cardinals 1-0 5 times in their history, including tonight.
Mike Fiers is our Budweiser player of the game. He went 6 innings, gave up just 4 hits. Not a lot of balls hit hard off of him. 2 walks and 6 strikeouts. Really a well-pitched game by both Fiers and Jaime Garcia. He is the hard luck loser here tonight in game 1 of this series.
The Brewers thought they had ended the game potentially at second base on a pickoff. Instead, the game extended to Colton Wong and a ground out to first. Post-game show next.